Throughout this activity, I learned a lot about how we perceive facts and new information when we first come in contact with them. Often, when researching online, we tend to gravitate towards the information that is immediately available or that makes us feel vindicated, while ignoring the validity of the source. By spending a lot of time online, I learned that the hands-off approach to validating sources can do a lot of harm. With just dipping lightly into the online world, you are exposed to great amounts of information. Most of it is exaggerated, incomplete, or misinformed. You have to actually go out of your way to look for it to find a rare, elusive truth. A big part of the problem is the rate at which fake news are spread. This can be a vicious loop in which the fake info gets put on big name articles. That's why checking your sources correctly is such a valuable skill to learn. By running background checks on where your information comes from and the context behind it, you can ensure that you don't fall victim to the endless, swirling cesspool of misinformation that is the online world, or at least filter most of the rot via fact-checked sources. This applies especially to historical moments, as articles and authors have the cheeky tendency of lacing their works with their own opinions or twisting facts to paint a fabricated picture of how they want people to see history. You must ensure that your sources are free from biases and completely neutral, providing only hard facts. This activity helped me learn about our identities, but also about how we perceive information. I realized just how analytic I am and how even the smallest details build to a picture in my mind of who my classmate was, no matter how wrong it was. Like how I mistook him for a boring art geek, but he actually turned out to be a parkour practitioner. I also learned about how he manages himself. He likes to push himself to the edge, both metaphorically and literally, as he stood next to a cliff in the picture. I think that elements of the past help shape us into who we are today because of various reasons. The first and main one is because history really does repeat itself, and I believe that every single person knows this. Past experiences affect our future and current selves by molding our brains. If we had a negative experience in the past, then we probably will react negatively when faced with a similar situation, and this principle applies to many feelings and reactions. For example, my partner described a negative connotation with large trips, as he actually got lost on one many years ago. My other reason for why I believe the past shapes us is because as you grow up, it becomes harder to change. If you lived a certain way for a long time in your past, changing can be very challenging and downright distressing. I believe that most of people's quirks come from this place, and when a personality is basically a general frame with a bunch of quirks interwoven on top, you can see how this affects our identity greatly.